Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss anything we have to talk about. And what is today's topic? Today's topic is Quantum Leap, the reboot. And I'm super excited about this. Although I do have to say that in just the 2 days that this has been announced, I have noticed that the Quantum Leap fandom has been split down the middle. You have people that are super excited about the concept of a brand new story, and then you have the people that are trashing the idea, saying that the original should not be messed with at all. And here's the thing about it though, a reboot implies that it's going to be a completely new cast, and this is not really the case, because this reboot is in fact a sequel taking place in modern times, meaning that Scott Bakula could come back as Sam Beckett. And if you don't know anything about Quantum Leap, well, sit down and listen because we're about to get down to business. Quantum Leap ran 97 episodes over 5 seasons, which is more than a lot of shows get nowadays. And it is a cult classic. If you haven't heard of it, it follows Sam Beckett, who jumps into this quantum machine that he's built and is sent hurling back through time. But the catch is that he is not in his body going back through time. So, it's not your typical time travel. Instead, he jumps into the body of someone in the past. This is interesting because his only guide on his journey is Al, a hologram from his timeline, and he's the only one that can see him. Now, he has this little computer that he brings, this little device, and he tells Sam Beckett what he needs to do to set this time right. Because the bottom line is he can't jump out of this timeline. He can't escape that body until he sets right what once went wrong. And that's the premise of Quantum Leap. Now, the importance of it doing a reboot, or rather a sequel series, because that's really what we're talking about here, is that it takes place in modern times, with Scott Bakula, who played Sam Beckett, potentially being able to come back. However, Dean Stockwell, unfortunately, has passed away. He passed away last November, so we will not be able to get Al, but that's perfectly okay. I know there's people that are saying that without Al, the series isn't gonna be worth its salt. I know that there are people saying that if Sam Beckett himself don't appear or isn't the main star, it's not going to be worth it. To this, I point fans to the Luke Skywalker argument. Yeah, you have to go back to it. Mark Hamill is 60-something years old. Scott Bakula is older than that. Can you really see him doing a whole lot to jump through and, perform any sort of stunts on the show? They need a younger character to do this, and unfortunately that's true. Now, the problem isn't with having to recast the show. Oh, no, no, no. Although there are some fans who are crying about the possibility of them recasting the show and saying that it will flop automatically. A majority of the fans are worried that it's going to get woke. Can we just take a second here? This is Quantum Leap. He jumped into the bodies of so many different people, so many different races, religions, sexual preferences. You're worried about this show being woke. Oh, it was there. It was there already. And I'm sorry if you didn't see it. I'm sorry if you're a fan and you and you thought that this didn't have politics in it, that this wasn't going to be some preachy show, because a lot of times it was about the inclusion. It was about the issue that the people were dealing with, the human issues that people deal with every day. And it just so happened that if he jumped into the body of a gay man or a gay woman or whatever, they had to deal with that accordingly. If he jumped into the body of an African American, they had to deal with that accordingly. No matter what he did, they had to deal with it accordingly. And they were true. They were very brutally honest and true in the series. They strived to actually make history look like it did. They had things about women's lib, things about civil rights, things about LBGQ rights before it was called LBGQ. And all of that, they had all this stuff. And you notice, the thing of it is, for a show of its caliber, for a show of its time, it was very much controversial. So to bring this show into the modern era and address it accordingly, they're looking at doing that again. And people are very, very blind to the fact that this show did address those issues. For whatever reason, hindsight is never really 20/20. When you're dealing with fandoms, it's oftentimes the fans have these beautiful little glasses on, these rose-colored glasses through which they look through their fandoms. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that you liked as a child, a lot of the themes and concepts involved literally went right over your head because you were too young to understand. Now, if you are of a certain age, you saw the show as an adult, and then maybe you caught some of this, but more than likely, you didn't. The golden era of television had a certain flair. It had a certain style to it. It had a certain ring that allowed things to happen in a certain way. A way that modern television really does seem to lack. And I'm sorry, but it's true. But only from a certain point of view. You see, times change and the world changes. And without this change, without this happening, you're not going to get the level of storytelling that needs to be told to adapt to the world as it is today. And that brings me to my one concern, my one worry with this show. If they have a younger character, how young are we talking about? Could they travel back to 1985? 1981? Maybe 70s? Sam Beckett had a wonderful lifetime of things. See, he could only jump in to his own lifetime. If you're getting someone that's younger, what did we have to offer? In order to do that, they're going to have to evolve the storytelling in a way that's going to upset some people. And I'm very quite sure of this. But it's not the content or the way they have to tell the story. It's more of how they're going to tell the story. I am very open to the series coming back. I am even very open to the fact that this series could come back and only be able to travel as far as like 1989. Even though in the back of my head, I'm saying, what happened in 1989 to the year 2022? Being that the original showrunners are indeed coming back, and being that it seems to be on the right track, I, however, cannot see any reason to not justify this being made. If it completely flops, if it's horrible in every single way, shape, and form, then you have the original to fall back on if you're a fan. And if it's new and it's great and it's wonderful and they tell us stories that make us think, that teach us lessons just like the original did, then we're a win-win situation there. And there's nothing wrong with it. The thing that I always tell people about fandoms is that when you're thinking about a fandom, think of it this way. Just because you don't like an aspect of that fandom doesn't mean that someone else won't. And every time someone likes something you don't, it's okay because it brings them into the very fandom that you enjoy. And not only that, it actually makes your fandom grow. So let us know what you think of this series. Are you super excited? And like we said at the beginning of the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Miko thinks we need more subscribers. This face wouldn't lie to you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell so you know when we do our next video. Share this video with all of your friends. Leave a comment because YouTube likes it and so do we. And remember, friends, the world can be a really dangerous place. Just remember to try to be safe out there. And at the end of the day, fandom is family.